Welcome to Just a Thought, a podcast for misfits who've turned self-reflection into a lifestyle. Around here, we get into the messy stuff, mental health, connection, and the daily chaos of being a human. It's kind of like therapy, but with some sarcasm and fewer co-pays. I'm your host, Purple Energy, and every week we'll obsess over one subject we know best, ourselves. Because if you're going to spiral, why not make it about yourself? This is Just a Thought. I'm your host, Purple Energy, and today we are going to talk about one of my favorite topics, which is books. I have the girls from my book club here, Malika and Big Gina Jean. I am normally a self-help girly. I don't really dabble in the fantasy fiction area, but this book club has pushed me into a new genre of body of work that I never thought to read. I've been enjoying it so far. One of my favorite books that we read when we first got started was Before I Let Go. When I tell you, Kennedy Ryan made me fall in love with romance, with books and words, I was like, oh my gosh, this is freaking amazing. I can sit here and read books for the rest of my life.
And she's very poetic when she writes. Kennedy Ryan has easily become one of my favorite authors. I think my first time reading her book was Before I Let Go. I believe that's my first book I ever read by her.
Yeah, that was mine too, and it was from the club.
That was my first book too. That was the first book of hers that I've ever read. And that entire series was just wonderful. I love the way she writes. I love the topics that she touches on. She touches on such human topics that go on in every different households, and the way she tells the story and then brings it back to love at the end.
Before I Let Go, was that the book club read, or
No.
did we read that? I think it was you, Gina, that had recommended it, right?
No, I think somebody else said that they had read it already, but it definitely wasn't a book club read.
Oh,
Right.
was it?
No, it was never a book club read because I think somebody said that someone already read them. So we didn't use it as a book club read, but we all read it on our own. I'm not sure if the second one was a book club read. I know the third one was.
Yeah.
But I don't even think the second one was.
No, because I remember reading that one separately. But Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan, oh man, that thing touched me. I love that book. And you know, it's hard for me to give anybody a 5 or a 4. Versus Malika, she's giving out 5. It's like,
all over the place.
Yes, she gives those 10 stars. Yeah, she loves saying 10 stars. Correct me, honey. But Before I Let Go hit different. What I loved about Yasmin and what was the husband name? Josiah. Was they went through a real life situation that people go through, which was a loss of a child, and how people handle that grief differently.
Right.
What did you guys take how she came up with these characters, their development over time, and what did you get from the book?
I can start. Well, I did love her character development because when you started the book, the trauma had already happened. A lot of it was going back to kind of tell us about the trauma afterwards, but they were already in a state of divorce. Their lives were already torn apart. They were going as single people who had already had this horrible thing happen with them. So I liked all the ways that she developed each one of the characters, and the grief being its own character, the fact that each one of the kids had their own lives that had to deal with this whole thing. I love the way she pulled all of that together. And then each one of her books, she always talks about dealing with your mental health and just finding a way to kind of discuss it, and get those feelings out. And that's when things start to kind of turn around and get better.
I really appreciate Kennedy Ryan for that. She's normalized seeking therapy, voicing your opinion, voicing your feelings, and navigating that process and knowing that you do not have to be alone. I don't think I've read a book yet, and I'm still reading through her collection, where she isn't talking about advocating for mental health, especially for Black women, because these characters are Black women, all different variations in size and shapes and colors. And I love that she is thinking about the audience and the community as a whole and how we show up differently in different aspects of our lives. For me, I said that book was a must read for every partnership, whether you are in a relationship that is a married or you have a partner. Because even if you didn't go through that, you may go through that, right? It's not it's when will you, right? You don't know if your kids is going to die before you or vice versa. And at least this is somewhat of a blueprint to start having an open forum about if this happened to us, how will we navigate this process? I'm curious to see if you guys took it back to your spouses, because both of you are married. Did you take it back to your spouse and have your spouse read it?
My husband was my husband was not. I've been trying to get him to read these books, and I think if he was to read it, he'd be like, "What are you trying to tell me?" I don't know if he would. I don't know if he would take it the same way, but I didn't. I love that how both of them. There was a point in the book where they come back together to talk, and she was like, we were grieving in two different ways.
Yes.
She had to stop in her grief, feel it and sleep in it and just let it consume her. And he had to just kind of work through it, just keep going to work and pretend like it didn't happen. She was mad at him because he wouldn't stop moving, and he was mad at her because she stopped and wasn't doing anything else. And so both of them were blaming each other for doing it because they were both grieving in different ways.
Right.
So, and instead of seeing somebody at the time, they just kind of let that kind of tear them apart.
But I loved how she wrote that about them being teared apart, because grief is heavy. People don't like to sit in the mess of heaviness of real life. Even when you have a partner who's supposed to say, I do, and that means the bad signs, where we're going to sit here and we're going to work it out. And this man was like, feelings, I don't have time for it, pack it up, go. Right. While her as a mother, I'm going to feel this and I'm going to sit here, and whenever it ends, because you have no idea what I experience as a woman connecting with this child. You don't have that. Men don't have that. They just stand from an outside point. They're seeing your body change. They're seeing your hormone shifts of your eating habits, but they don't know internally what you are feeling in a connection with this child in your womb. I loved how she depicted these two people, different experiences, that says, okay, well, where do you fit in as the reader? She leaves these open-ended statements to allow you to fit yourself in it. And then you can kind of feel like, okay, maybe I'm leaning towards Yasmin. Maybe I'm leaning towards Josiah. And you can kind of get through that situation. And as we know, men are fixers. All they want to do is fix it. They want to move on. Right. They like, listen, stop crying. This is what you need to do. Let's move on. Right. I loved how in the book she made Josiah actually wound up going to therapy by speaking to, what was his friend name?
Oh, he went to a therapist, right? What was the therapist's name? I forgot.
I only read the book once.
But you need to listen to the
audio. I listened to the audio.
Girl, yes.
Oh, the audio is magical.
Yes. The audio is everything. Okay, I read the book and the audio. It was so good. Black men are slowly starting to have an open perspective of therapy. But Josiah actually goes, and in the beginning, it wasn't easy for him to go speak to this person. He kind of was pissed off that he even had to be there.
Right.
He was frustrated. Like, why I got to sit here next to you and tell you how I'm feeling? I just need her to just get better, essentially. And that's what they think.
I would feel that same way, though. That's how I feel with therapy.
What?
Yeah, that you don't think you would want to go.
Mm-hmm. Right. And I just feel like I just don't get the purpose in it for myself. But for me, it's just like, so I'm going to sit there and then I'm going to talk enough and then I'm going to figure out it myself. So it's like, what am I coming here for? Wasting my money. So no.
But sometimes you go to something like that. You know how you go to an event or you go to do something and you're like, I'm not going to like that. I don't think I'm going to get anything from that. And then you go and you realize just what you got out of it. You know what you're going to get out of it because you've never been before. You never been there before. Right. You never done it before. You never spoken to somebody about those kinds of things before. And so you don't know what you're going to get from it. But that doesn't mean that there's nothing to be had from it. It just means that you don't know what you would get. And you would feel like, you know what? I'm not going to talk because I don't want, I know like my husband's like, no, because you just going to tell him all the bad stuff I do. You just got to tell him all the bad stuff. It's just going to be everybody ganging up on me about the choices that I made in my life. But, no choices are bad. So you got to, you going in there to unpack all your shit.
Most people, whether it's men or women, feel that way. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go in here and this person is going to know that I did these things and they're going to judge me for these choices that I made. Mm-hmm. And I just did the best that I can do in this moment.
Right. I don't want to change what I'm doing. I'm doing what I'm doing and I'm happy with it and I'm fine with it. If you don't like it, you go and do something else. And that's what a lot of people feel like. So why am I going to go? I don't need to change anything. I'm fine. But sometimes, just talking about it, you take some pieces of the stress off of yourself. It doesn't have to be, like you said before, it doesn't have to be, a therapist. Maybe it's friends. Maybe it's, clergy. But sometimes you got to have that sounding board. You got to have that person that you can say, listen, does this happen to you too? Like, you know what I mean? Is this what's going on with you too? Because this is what's going on with me. And this shit is crazy. So, you know what I mean? And you want to, and then they can say, no, that's not crazy. That's actually the way things happen.
Right.
But when you don't say anything, you just assume that, this is not how it's supposed to be or whatever. When you air it out, it, changes it and it makes it no longer so heavy.
That's the whole part of it. I feel like it's about being heard. Some people don't have a soundboard. They don't have community. They've always had their voice shut down from a child. You think about it. A child comes home and says, Mom, I'm feeling this way. And they're like, don't give me your feelings. I'm going to work. I'm doing this. The parents start telling you all the reasons why you shouldn't have this emotion because they doing a job. Remember, you chose to be a parent. So why are you unloading on the child and telling them these are all the reasons why they shouldn't be feeling that way? So from that moment, your voice is shut down. And so now you are in a partnership and you don't know how to communicate to your partner.
Right.
Because we all want love. That's what we're essentially here to do, to love and to be in partnership with other people.
Right.
Again, partnership is just not romance, y'all. It can happen in many different facets and shapes of life. If that's what we're essentially here to do and you lack communication, how are you going to be in a partnership? How are you going to be in community?
Right. That's true.
So that's what I loved about that book. It made you sit down and reconsider going to therapy and figure out, okay, could this possibly be something that I might want to just put my toe in and see if it's okay for me to do?
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Am I safe here? Because I think that's a lot of what people feel also. Will I be safe outside of me being judged here? Can I really trust you in this moment to open myself up? Right? Versus Yasmin, she was like, listen, okay, I'm giving you all the feeling. And then as a woman, she's now getting blamed not only from her husband, Josiah, but also the kids.
Right.
The kids is trying to figure out, well, why the hell she can't move on? We need this, we need that from you. And life has moved on because, kids, a blip of a second, they moved on to the next thing.
Right.
So she was dealing with it essentially alone outside of her therapist. So I loved how she had some form of validation outside of her own voice.
And I thought it was very, I don't know, brave. I guess it's a brave thing for her to have even asked him for the divorce. Because at some point she was saying, I had to divorce you because I needed to choose me. You know what I mean? I had to choose me. And then not that I don't love you. It's not that I don't want to be with you. It's not that, but I could not be me, a mother, and then still have to deal with navigating you and your shit. I don't know if I could do all of those things. I can't save me and you and save me. So if I got to choose something, I'm going to choose saving myself. And that's a brave thing to do, even though she loved this man. She didn't want to leave him. She never moved on after him. She wanted to be with this man, but she knew that she couldn't do both things. So that's, a lot of people stay in a relationship, even though they don't know how to navigate those things. And then they sacrifice themselves for the relationship. And they sacrifice themselves to stay married, to stay with this person.
Leading to that, have any of you ever sacrificed yourself to be in a relationship?
No.
Malika, you lie. Who did I sacrifice myself to be in a relationship with? Because you forgave when he cheated on you. So that was a self-sacrifice, whether you realize it or not.
Who cheated on me? Oh, Ricardo? Girl, that was when I was, how old? I'm grown now.
You was grown when that happened.
Yeah, I was like 18, 19. I won't take those type of things into now. Like, I'm one before you next year.
Right. I think everybody stays in a relationship, has stayed in a relationship.
Hold on, Gina. He told me he didn't, so I believed him, okay?
He told you he didn't what? What?
He had to what are you going to tell you? Yeah, I did. What? Yeah, so I believed him. And he still never said it. But look, that's okay. Look, that's what we're holding. That's a whole other topic.
No, it's not. It's the topic that we're on. Stay in it. Stay in it. Come on, girl. See, she don't like to get with her emotions. See, we gonna press in. Lean in it. Okay, that the girlies want to know, honey, because they've been there before.
Now, I think everybody's been in a relationship longer than they should have been. Knew that they should have got out before and didn't. Stayed in it a little bit too long.
Yep.
I don't know if that's like sacrificing yourself. I think that's more just,
stupid.
No.
I don't know about that, but just like maybe hoping for hope that it may get better. You know what I mean? Or being a dumbass. I could be that. I've been that.
I will not call myself a dumbass, but what I will say, it was self-sacrifice. Why? Because in that moment, I'm not really thinking about me. Because if I was really thinking about me, I would have left. I am thinking about this person, what we built, all of those other things are taking over how I actually feel in this moment. As you guys know, I talked on this podcast before about a 9-year relationship that I was in, that I did all these things for this person and that I knew that I shouldn't have been with this guy. You know, I should have left a year and a half into the relationship because he broke my non-negotiable, which was not to lie to me. So essentially, I did sacrifice myself for the greater good of him. I portrayed myself for somebody else, and I should have never did that. And every woman can relate to that you portrayed yourself for the greater good of somebody else. You didn't think about yourself in that moment. You thought about this other person.
Right.
And I'm okay with admitting my truth. And if you're not there yet with yourself, that's fine. But I'm not here to judge you. I'm saying for myself, I'm okay with that part of me that did choose him because I still have to love that version of myself that believed we were building something.
Right. That's true. I mean, so was it so much for him, or I'm doing this for us and this relationship and I've been in this relationship for 8 years. I don't want to give up this relationship because I've put in so much time and so much effort. Or were you saying, you know what, he's so wonderful and I want to be with him? Was it him or the relationship?
It was my family influence. Because when it first happened, I wanted to break up with him. And everybody's like, he is so good. He's so nice. Mm-hmm. And they were used to me bringing home, quote unquote, bad boys. So here he is the complete opposite. It's like suburbia. Mm-hmm. So he's so different. This is where you need to be at. And he won my family over. So when this happened, he advocated him for him so heavily that I'm like, well, maybe I need to just give this another chance. Maybe I need to see this differently.
So then it's the ideal. Then
so
it's not even
you get what I'm saying? Right.
It's the ideal.
Like them just influencing me. And I understood from my family's perspective of like, we want you to get married. We want you to have this life. And this is potentially it. Don't just jump and leave out. You get what I'm saying? Because if it was up to me, I'd have been like, oh, you lied. Check out. Like, I'm done. My non-negotiables are what they are. And those non-negotiables have protected me and served me. And when I broke it, essentially, I paid the cost for it. But I'm also grateful for that because in that moment, I dated my mother. Every woman dates the parent that they can't stand the most, and I dated my mother. Sorry, Mom. True. And so that taught me to never do that again. But I loved my father. My father was my primary parent. That was the parent that I got nurturing, love, and all those different things from this parent. And my mother essentially was not. She was the more hippie, just gonna do whatever the hell she wanted to do. If you got to be sacrificed for her to do what she want to do, she don't give a fuck. Right. You get what I'm saying? Right. Versus my father, he would apologize if he got to school late, and I mean 5 minutes. The first thing he's going to do is apologize to me and let me know I'm not going to do that again. I should have let you know before that this was going to happen, but this happened, and this is an unknown that I couldn't foresee, which is why I didn't let you know that I was going to be late. Right. Very gentle as a father, and I think that every person should have that in both parents, but especially with fathers. Like something about that, just I don't know. I really can't explain it just yet, but. Either way, just having his love made me preserve love over the years by having that love from him. Oh, that was pretty. That was beautiful. You got my nerves.
It was, because I don't know my father. So that was nice to hear that. So that was cool.
And I know my father, but I know my father. He's passed now, but he was just not. He was one of those fathers that says, I'm coming to pick you up and then don't show up. You know, that, let you down kind of feeling. And my mother never spoke negatively about him. She was like, you know what? Shit floats. So eventually it'll come to the top and you'll see it on your own that that's the type of person he is. And that's what I figured out on my own. My father's relationship with my sister is completely different than my father's relationship was with me. So, but going back to this book, so looking at how he was a father to those children.
I love that.
Just looking at that, even though that girl, I wanted to beat that little girl butt.
Yeah, she was going to that, honey.
But the reason he even went to therapy was because the little boy needed to go to therapy. And he said, if you go, I'll go. So that was a support that he gave to his son that he didn't even give to his wife.
Right.
She needed him to go and he wouldn't go, but he went for his son.
See, I love that part, that when she wrote that part in there, because that was a very key element that most people will forget, that the father was selfless in that moment and chose his son over himself. He was afraid to do something, but because I want to show my son that this is what you should do, I'm now going to do it. And as a parent, that was very honorable.
Right.
Because they learn by being taught, not what you say. His actions spoke louder than his words.
I love the father figures that she has in all 3 of the books. The father that in the second book was
Judah.
I loved Judah. with those boys, with the, and they both have special needs, and the way he was working so hard because he knew that his money had to not only outlive him, but had to outlive them, because once he was gone, how were they going to be cared for?
Right.
And he would do things to make sure that his wife, who he wasn't with anymore, he supported her, he supported those boys. I mean, I just love that whole aspect. He turned his life upside down for those kids. So I thought that was beautiful. I mean, I like the way she made fathers very strong
and gentle at the same time.
Yeah, very strong, but very strong presence. There's so many books by African American people, by Black people, that the father is like not there, or the mother is not there, or if the father is there, he got this one, he's doing this, he's doing that. This one, the fathers were very strong in this book, all of them. So I like that.
She's painting a picture that we don't see in media. Right. Media always wants to show you the negative of the Black community, and the good that's in the community doesn't get the same praise. It's like he who has the mic is the loudest type of a thing. And there are Black men who are very heavily present in their children's lives, not just in the house, but they're going to the after school activities. They're speaking to their kids. They're doing things with their kids. They're not just taking a picture for Instagram, but they're actively being real fathers and present in their lives.
And believe it or not, it's the majority of them.
Right. And so
it's not the minority. It's the majority of them that are doing that. They are doing it every single day. And they're with their kids all the time. Even if they're not with the mother anymore, they are in their children's lives. And they make it seem like an anomaly. It's not an anomaly. It is actually the majority of the people are doing that.
Right. Yes, you will have a few, as they say, bad apples. You can't stop that. That's life, and that's their choice, right? But she's allowing you to see a picture that maybe someone didn't get to see. And so that they now have a healthier lens of choosing a partner that has certain qualities that they never thought about. That's what I love about her writing.
I like Smut.
But everybody's talking about the sex part, but they're forgetting what the message itself, and how you don't necessarily have to see a thing, because here's someone shaping the narration of what a quality partner looks like. If you can only tap into that part and say, hey, maybe I need to add these things too into my checklist of things that I want from a man. That's what I love about her writing. It makes you slow down, and it makes you think in a way that you never thought about.
She's very poetic with her writing to me. And it's just like, as you're reading the book, you're reading poetry with Kennedy Ryan. So she's definitely a must-read author if you guys never read any of her books.
Definitely.
And it's a sad thing for the guys in my life, the man in my life. I'm like, why you can't talk like that? I'm waiting for him to say something. And he's like, what? Yeah, you look nice. Okay, fine. You look nice. Okay. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm looking for something else.
Right. That's what I've been saying. Like, if these men want to learn how to court, read these romance books. Y'all are slipping, okay? You don't have to have the MAC card. You ain't got to have a father in your life. Pick up a romance books, and them women that are writing these books is going to teach you a few things and maybe more.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because if men were coming with the way these men are coming, I have another one of my girlfriends who's like, you're ruining me because I'm listening to these books, and there's no men out here like this. They just don't exist. It doesn't happen because they're coming from the mind of a woman, and a woman is writing what she would want. Yes. You know what I mean? But I still love the book. It was great. It was great.
Guys, before I let go, if you are in a partnership, you need to have your partner read this with you. Because again, it's not will it happen, it's when it happens. You want to have something that you can stand on, that when the storm comes, oh my gosh, this is how these two navigated it. You're not going to therapy because you don't see me grieving in a different way that's different from yours. But let's go back to these characters, and where do you feel like you can relate to these characters, and how can we bridge where we are in this moment in real life with each other to try to get to a healthier space and place. Another book that I want to talk about is Dream. Who's the author?
L. Kaysen.
L. Kaysen, yes.
We'll talk about going from one extreme to the other. How we get from that book to that book? Woo!
Because it's about what we can learn from these books. And
I don't know some stuff.
The one key takeaway from that book that I love the most was when Damien said, I don't have sex with women when they are drunk because she cannot consent. Mm-hmm. That stole my heart. That one line.
Why? Because he doesn't want to be a rapist?
No.
It's teaching because it's teaching young men to get out of the pattern of having sex when you are drunk.
Okay.
The person has to be conscious to make an actual choice of consent because consent is a big thing lately.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? What's
Absolutely.
consent, what is not consent, and they are unsure of what that really is. And so when you make the conscious choice to not have sex with someone who is under the influence, you realizing that they really can't consent.
Right, right.
And that's why I love that she wrote that one tidbit in there.
Agreed.
But to be like honest, I like your reason, but I don't think that's the reason she wrote it.
So what do you think is the reason she wrote?
I think it was more so like we read the books like because they want you to be like he wasn't, or maybe that it could have been because he was he did open up more towards the end.
He wasn't a good dude.
Yeah, at all.
He wasn't a good dude. So he has some standards. Great. You should have some standards. They should be they should be able to stand up and speak for themselves. Yes, he has some standards. He wasn't a great dude. I can't say, like, I had a lot of book babes, or maybe I have a few book babes, but Demon was definitely not one of them. I love the book.
That's
but
why
the book was good, but Demon was not a book babe.
That's
at
why,
all.
that's why I was shocked to find out that he made her baeless. Like, you of all people, Demon made your babe. Like, he was more of a babe than Smoke. That's crazy.
I loved Smoke.
Yes.
I loved Smoke. Out of that book. I love Smoke. Absolutely. And I thought the book was good. Like I said, I thought the book was good. I thought the sex scenes was steamy. I thought
too much for me.
Very steamy. I thought all of that stuff, like the tug and pull between the two of them and the way that they got together and all of that, I thought that was great. Did I think he was a dude that I could even, in your mind, even any way think that he's a good dude that you... No. I didn't think he had any redeeming attributes at all. To me as a man, I don't think that. I thought Smoke did, but I did not think he did. But that's your opinion, but no. Not me. Not that for him, for me. That was just me.
I don't know if I said he was a book babe of mine. Because I know Rome was my book babe.
Oh,
right.
Yeah, Rome was your number one.
I know
Rome
that. What's my girl from Alexandra House? Technical.
Travion.
Travion, number 2. Okay.
Woo!
Them the only 2 that I can say is my book babe and going to forever be at 1 and 2. Yeah. I haven't collected any more like you guys. You guys be collecting them like chicks. Y'all be collecting them. I'm like,
these dudes off my back.
My number 1 is still Dr. Green.
Dr. Green, I like Dr. Green, but he wasn't our number 1.
Listen, y'all be collecting them like it's like, okay, go to the $200 passed out.
No, this year I didn't collect.
I don't have any from this year. Not even one.
But nothing, you know who else that I like too that's a really good author? And her writing style is similar to Kennedy Ryan's, but is not such a slow read, is J.L. Seegers.
Yeah, I like
that. New Haven series was, oh my, you guys have to.
I read the first one. I couldn't get past this.
Did you do the audio or did you do the book?
I did the audio.
Because you know how you with the audio, girl.
I do a lot of the stuff with the audio. I think that something about that was a little bit of too much of a slow, if I'm remembering the book, because I have a lot of books in my brain.
Another one, which is Malika's favorite book, what is it called?
Somebody's Wife.
So that was my actual first audiobook. And when I tell you, that thing hit different. Okay. Sometimes the right narrators can sell a book.
That Wesley and that daggone
Jacoby.
Yeah.
Oh, honey. They are a pair.
They did Before I Let Go also. And that was my first audiobook, was Before I Let Go. And I just loved it.
I was so against audiobooks until I listened to that one. I kept something like, oh my God, you gotta listen. It's like, because I am a physical book girly all day, but when I had listened to that, I was like, wait a minute, we might need to change up a little bit.
Yeah, that book was really good. I don't know. I just, from the first time she met him, how intensive he was and how he wanted her, do what was best for her. And he was just thinking about her. So, I don't know. I just love that book. And that Drop Your Location. I think that's what won me over.
Drop Your Location, baby.
I think that's what won me over with that book.
Definitely. That was a really good book. Like, shout outs to Robbie Bernay because she's kind of underrated a little bit. Mm-hmm. And she has some really good books in her catalog.
So far, since we started the book club, from the book club authors we've read, I would say my favorite author would be Kennedy Ryan, though. Oh, no. Sadiqa Johnson.
Yes.
I love her
my gosh, the
books.
historic fiction. She is awesome.
Did you read House of Eve?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys know she's from Jersey?
You saw the clip I sent you? Yes. I was like, okay, Jersey girl, come up in here. Like, she is a really, really
Christina
good writer.
Forrest from Jersey.
I like Christina Forrest too.
Yeah, so she just dropped a YA book, and she said the book she just dropped, which is Love Sick. She said that she's not doing YA for a while. She's just going to do adult romance.
But
books.
even her adult stuff, maybe I'll give me more. It's still kind of young.
YA, yes.
Yeah, it still kind of has a feel of a, maybe because I'm so used to the smut, she doesn't really. She doesn't sing to those smut.
Nowhere near.
But I love her books because I've reread. I'm a rereader too, so I love to read. When I find something I really love, I will reread them over and over again. The Neighbor Favor and all of those,
which was definitely You Got Mail, Neighbor Favor.
Absolutely, it was absolutely.
They need to turn that into a movie. Actually,
Yes.
Neighbor Favor, the black version of You Got Mail, because that would be so cute.
Most definitely.
But so why does she say why she's transitioning from YA to adults?
She just said that she feels like she has enough of the young adults. Now she just wants to tap in more with the adult romance books.
Girl, you see the money that it can make. I ain't mad at you.
And so she want to, I think she said, so for her next few books that she's going to have is going to be adult. And then while she was there, they were talking like, I forget what the age was. I want to say 35, don't quote me. But anyway, so she was like, that would be a vintage age. So everybody, and the thing was like, what? Vintage?
Yes.
So Michelle was like, why would that be vintage? And she was like, that's just how it's marketing. So like, like when you're 35 and up, they call it geriatric pregnancy. That's just how it's marketed. It's not her saying vintage. That's just how they say in the book world when it's like around certain 30 or something.
So maybe I need to start getting, because I'm like, why am I reading all these books with these 19-year-olds and 22-year-olds?
Oh, that's exhausting.
It's
yes,
exhausting.
it really is.
And it's just like,
when I do read an older one, it's like, whack.
But my whole thing is at 20 and 19, are you really busting it, popping it, dropping it, locking it? You're not. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they need to make them more mature. They need to make them like 32, 33. Right. Like, come on.
They be having these young boys in these books are very, what's the word? Like, mature and like very seasoned in sex and stuff. I was like, come on, how is they?
Well, because the men are normally 30. That's the difference. Men are.
Some of the books, the men are 30. Some of the books, the men are like, so she's 19,
he's 21.
That's just not realistic. Like, you're immature. You don't know nothing about sex. You're still trying to figure out where the hole's at. Right. Baby, no.
Right.
Okay.
But a lot of these books, like urban romance books, they're young. You don't get that many of them when they're older.
Right.
Like a lot of these books are, especially being on TikTok, they'll be like, oh, this book is so good. Then you finally read the book, and it's just like, why are these grown women my age and older ranting and raving about this book? And these kids is 18. Like, what are we
You can't even get jiggy with it, like you were saying. She loves saying jiggy.
Like, I don't understand it, but I don't know. I don't know why that's the age range they write. Maybe because they want this series.
Yeah, I think so. And then if the series evolves, then they get older in the series.
But you can make them a year older. Right, so if you start at 31, they now 32.
Right.
They now 33. Again, gravitate towards your audience, because really 20-year-olds they're in college, they're all flipping it. Like, they're not really sitting down reading books.
They're not.
You get what I'm saying?
Not these types of books.
Right, exactly. Like, granted, I did read Coldest Winter Ever in high school. But after reading that, and I think I had like a 6-month period, maybe a year period where I was reading books in high school, and then I stopped. Life happened. I want to be outside.
But I think there's a niche for each group of people. I'm sure there's lots of young people who are reading. But then there's a lot, when you're talking about Black women reading books, older women, we need to see representation of ourselves too. Representation of people who are, past 30 years old, even into their 40s that are, there is a market for it. So, and they have a voice, and don't make it seem like, that's old. What did you say it's called?
Vintage.
Lord.
You a senior citizen, child.
Senior citizen.
The hell?
Well, I mean, technically I am, but, I'm going to one of them senior living right now. I'm 55.
Yeah.
I'm old as hell.
No, you're not. You don't even look at them. You look like you are age.
I know. Well,
So it's just
tell
like...
that to my hips. And my knees.
Listen, girl, I'm in my 30s. I still be having knee problems. I'm like, okay,
Lord.
inflammation get you, honey.
It sure do. Oh, Lord.
You can have inflammation at any age, okay? And it will hurt you.
Right.
It's true.
But Kelly Ryan does good with that, with her.
Right. She's very diverse when it comes to age range and the level of different levels of success where one is or isn't. She gives you a wide audience. So everyone, there's something for everybody.
Right. And she doesn't just write books where these are young and have, like Gina always say, like, this person have $8 million in the account. Like, come on, like, let's be serious.
Right.
So she does, like, the working class. Like,
Yes.
She makes it
really
relatable.
Yeah.
She's really good.
Like, you can see yourself in these characters, aunties, uncles, whoever, in these books. And that's the part you want to see. Because the more you can see yourself, the more you can learn. Your ear is open to hear what is actually being said. Because like you said, Malika, the moment that somebody's making a certain dollar amount, Gina be like, I'm turned off. He a millionaire, he a billionaire, what the hell?
Right,
Like,
yeah. No, I don't get it's not that I get turned off because of rich people in the books.
Not realistic.
It's just that some books should be normal people. Not every book should be he's 6'4" with a big and a lot of money. It don't have to always be that. It could be different stuff. He doesn't have to be a billionaire every time. He could be a working class man who has his own business, who's, who pays his bills and does regular stuff and still be a great person. You know what I mean? So I don't think it needs to be this, oh, he got a yacht and he's,
my only
I'm not
concern
saying
is
I don't want a yacht.
Okay.
I'm not saying I wouldn't appreciate a brother with one. I'm just saying not every book has to have that.
I'm kind of over the 6'4" because I'm like, where do you meet these 6'4" men? I don't normally see a 6'4" black dude. Like 5'7", 5'8", maybe 5'10". Like you get what I'm saying? But 6'4", my whole thing is, girl, you passing that Boaz because he 5'5". What the hell's wrong with you?
Right.
And no offense.
Did you watch that? Boaz?
Yes.
Yes. Was it good?
That's a thing.
You didn't watch it?
I didn't.
You was telling me about it. You didn't watch it?
I haven't seen.
What is it?
On Netflix, Boaz and Ruth. The Tyler Perry. You didn't watch it? And you
like the Bible?
No, it's they
it's
are
supposed to be a romance
from the
Bible.
Bible.
That's why I said to you, because it was Bible names.
Oh,
I didn't come to you for anything else.
You did wrong.
But what's his name? Tyler Lampley. That's his name, right? Tyler Lampley. He plays Boaz, and I guess I haven't seen it yet. I've seen the previews.
Yeah, I want to tell it to you because of the Bible.
That's it. You was wrong. What should I say?
Oh, because you was into the Bible. So I'm just saying so.
No, I heard it was good. I haven't watched it. It wasn't good.
It was okay. I feel like it was rushed.
Oh, okay.
Girl, you said Don was rushed, and that book was amazing.
No, it was not.
I love Don.
Y'all can say what y'all want to say. We can talk about it.
But I love the whole series, and you didn't read the whole series. So that may be coming from a situation where
I might have to read the series before that so I can find out about the best friend. Because what series was that in?
That was a whole 12 books before that book. You only read the last 2 books.
Don's best friend.
Oh, yeah. I think that was in Quasim.
That was in Quasim. I haven't read Quasim yet.
No. The third one, I was crying like I was watching a Lifetime movie.
Quasim, but she had what was it, 12 books? So once you got through all of them books, that's why you can appreciate Don and all of them, because you know all these characters, you know who the people are. So that's probably why we loved the book more than you did, because you didn't really know who.
Well, I read the Staten Island. I felt like Staten Island needed to have been read before you got into the Menace. And that's how I figured out a lot of the people, because I read that.
Yeah, you had to read. As you read, I started reading Capone. And then Gina started reading Staten Island, and she was like, you should read Staten Island before you start Capone.
Right.
Then I read Staten Island. Then I read Capone. Then I read Capadonna. Then I went that way, and then everything just flowed so brutally. Because, then people were being mentioned, and as people are being mentioned, I'm like, oh, okay, this is from this book. Right. This is from that book.
But I did enjoy the Staten Island series.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Girl, you enjoyed that better than Don?
But see, that's what I'm saying. She got to read the whole thing. She got to get through all of it.
The book was just okay. Jaquel was kind of throwing shade at her audience of feeling like, this is something that she enjoys doing. But now that it's become this big thing, it's kind of the money's been taken over her art. And if this book, and you felt this, how I saw it, you felt her frustration in this book. And I didn't want to feel that from her. Even if that is her truth, I didn't want to feel it in her from these characters.
I didn't feel that from her at all. And I didn't read that in the beginning. And maybe that gave you a lens that you was reading the book in. Maybe you was reading the book in the lens of that. And so you felt it in the lens of that because that was the first thing you heard about it, and she talked about it in the beginning, and so that put that lens over that whole book for you.
It did.
That's probably more likely what happened.
Because
I felt the book to be very realistic. I felt it to be realistic because I didn't feel like he was telling her how to love. A lot of the times he was saying to her, I don't know how to love. I don't know how to do this, and show me. And then she was showing him. And just like even when with the other girl he was with, I forget the scenario, but it was a part where
with the other girl.
yeah. And then it was like an issue or something, and he was like, well, I don't know how to. And then she was like, well, telling him how. So I feel like he was more just open to with them talking to him and teaching him how they wanted to be loved. Like when he was saying to, what's her name? Navy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So I don't feel like it was like a lot of that you, I don't know. I just
I have to, like I said, maybe I need to read it again.
The way he caught on to her family.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know,
he didn't have it,
he
right.
gave the father the card.
Yeah.
I love the way because he didn't really have a mother and a father. So the way he attached himself to the uncles and just brought himself into that whole thing. I mean, loving her was part of a whole community.
But that is what love is, right?
And that's what it is.
And especially something that he wasn't used to, because all he was used to was just menace. Can you imagine menace being
right? Come on, that's good, right?
Like, come on.
And what else I loved about that book was not everybody's story ends with a baby. You know, everybody doesn't say, I want to. She knew it. Now, there was me and Malika had a conversation about this part too. She knew from the beginning she didn't want a baby. She didn't want that. So then why was some part of that was a little ridiculous, because then why was she so reckless? Why are you having sex without?
My point.
Why are you being reckless? Why, if you didn't want a baby from the beginning and you knew it and you've known it and you've said it and you want to go get yourself fixed and all that stuff, then you should be hyper vigilant and you should be making sure that everything is where it needs to be covered up and whatever's going on. So that part should not have even been a piece. Like, he should have left that shit out. That's the only thing about that book that I think my gripe is. That's one thing about Jacques. She goes through all the different things that people go through in our society. She's gone through, what's his name, who has sickle cell, and then Down syndrome, and all these autism, and all these different things, alopecia, and all these different pieces from different people that have stuff that are going on in our lives that, you know, people don't shine a light on. And that's one of them, that there are lots of women who don't want to have children. That's a piece of life. A lot of people don't want to do it, you know, and it's no judgment. And she said it in there. As soon as I say it to people, they're like, why? Because blah, blah, blah. Well, no, because I just don't want to. That's my choice.
Right. And you shouldn't have to give a reason. You
shouldn't have to give a reason. It's my life. I'm the one that's going to have to live this way in my life, you know? So, you know, I don't have to explain it to you. It's not something I even have to explain. So I like that about that book.
What is a book that you would hands down recommend, whether it was something that we discussed or not?
Fast by Millie Belzar.
The one book I am going to always hands down recommend is the Danger series.
Yes.
Okay.
I love it.
I love that series, and we'll talk about that on our next episode. Thank you guys for listening.